What is up, guys? It's time for this week's review of the Obi Wan Kenobi show. So, this is episode 4. Just a warning, there's going to be spoilers, of course. I should warn that, but you should expect that. It's literally a review of the episode. Anyways, so last week we left off with Darth Vader absolutely fucking up Obi-Wan and Leia getting captured by the third sister. So they put Obi-Wan in the bacta tank, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty much the easy way to solve that. So they put him in the bacta tank, and then he's having those flashbacks of like Vader, and he's getting scared, and and you get like the kind of dichotomy. You also have Vader in his own bacta tank, and you can like see them both, and they're like having flashbacks to what just happened. Yeah, Leia gets captured by Reva. She gets taken to like, some outpost that the Empire has, and it's like, okay, and then they're trying to interrogate her to find out the rest of the people on like the path or whatever it's called, right? Where they find them. That like, the people that were helping the Jedis, they're trying to find out their other locations so they can like put a stop to it and kill them and all that good stuff. So Reva is telling, I don't know if she believes this or if she's trying to manipulate Leia at this point. It's not actually clear to me, but she's basically telling Leia that Obi-Wan's dead and no one's coming for her. I think she knows that he's alive, but she might not have known. I'm pretty sure Vader would have figured it out. I'm not entirely, yeah, I think she was there, but yeah, she's basically telling Leia that he's dead and no one's gonna come for her, and but Leia, won't budge. And this is another thing. People are like I said, people are hating on like Leia for some reason, but it's like this episode was like a really strong episode for her because she easily, like, they were trying to torture her here, and she wouldn't give up that information. She was loyal to Obi-Wan and to just Jedi in general. She wouldn't tell them anything. So honestly, yeah, really good episode for her in that regard. I hope people are starting to like her a little more. But yeah, so Obi-Wan enlist the help of like basically the leader of the Path. I'm just gonna call their group like the Path, I guess, because that's what they could call it at some point. And he's like, he's reluctant to help at first, but it's like, hey, his wife was Force sensitive, and he's like, I know exactly what the Empire can do. He says, and like, he knows. So he does end up helping them. They infiltrate the base, and Tara is there, or Tara is it pronounced? I think it's Tara. She's there too, right? And it's just basically Obi-Wan and her going to rescue Leia, and it's like this underwater little tank. So she uses her security clearance as like a officer in there, and they sneak Obi-Wan in there. There's some scenes where they almost get caught by stormtroopers, other things. She almost gets caught too, but Obi-Wan does find out where Leia is being kept, and they have. Oh, another thing I should mention is like, it's this is a really good episode. Like this is probably my favorite one so far because Obi-Wan finally starts to kind of like remember who he is and get back into it. And I was like, yes, like good. This is what we're waiting for. This is the episode because as I've been talking about this whole time with all these reviews, it's not just that he's weaker physically. It's that he's like weaker mentally. Like he's just not who he is. He has to remember that. He has to get it back. And that's what she says. Tara says to him before they go on the mission, like, he's like, I'll be fine. And she says something like, healing isn't just physical or something like that. And he's like, oh, it's hard to forget the past. There's some things you just can't forget. And she says, you're gonna have to try if you care about Leia. So then, yeah, anyway, I forgot to mention that, but I was like, okay, he's starting to realize what he has to do here, and they go on their mission, and he gets in there. So he does find Leia. He gets Tara to make a distraction for him. So they turn all the lights in there, and she calls away basically Reva, the third sister, right? She calls her away to like, deliver important information, but obviously she's a double agent, so it's just a distraction. They pull them all away. Obi-Wan goes and rescues Leia from like two stormtroopers. He frees her. They do end up both of them get their cover blown. Obi-Wan gets his cover blown, and so does Tara. So then now they're trying to meet up with each other while also trying to get Leia the fuck out of there. So they're going in, and Obi-Wan, yeah, has some encounters with stormtroopers. He pulls out the lightsaber, and he's deflecting shots again, everything. It's like he's back to normal. He's getting back into it, and this is the episode I've been waiting for. Like, he's finally it seems like he's not afraid anymore to he's not afraid of what he is, of what he's become. He's just he's reaching back into that Jedi bag of tricks, and he's using the Force again too. Earlier you saw in the episode on the ship, he tried to use the Force on just like this little ball. You know, it's like he's getting more comfortable again with doing all the Jedi stuff. Anyway, yeah, so they do end up escaping, and then there's a huge army of stormtroopers that comes, and he closes the door on them using the Force, but then there's a crack from when he deflected a bolt into the thing. So they meet up with Tara. He tells Tara like, "Hey, go save Leia," and he has to use the Force to stop this like crack in the glass. Because remember, they're underwater here, so it breaks and it's just gonna flood with water. So all the stormtroopers come through the door, and you can see him struggling to hold that door, but he's also trying to deflect bullets at the same time. So it's kind of interesting. But as the stormtroopers open the door, at that very moment, of course, because he's Obi Wan and he's smart, so he releases the Force, and the water flows and hits all of them, and he just starts running. They get him to run, and he goes, and Tara closes another door right behind him, and they escape, but they're like, oh, it won't hold for long. So basically, they've kind of destroyed the whole base here. They manage to get out of there, and then Reva and this absolutely giant army of stormtroopers like shows up as they're right in the hangar about to escape, and it's like, oh shit, like here we go. How, like, because they are not getting out of this one with just one guy with a lightsaber and her with a gun. Like there's way too many stormtroopers, and you've got like Reva here as well. So it's like, I'm like, oh, I don't know how they're getting out of this one. But then we get a nice Deus Machina, and two pilots come in and they start blasting the stormtroopers. So we get pilots. Those people from the path, they say that they're not soldiers is another important thing that they said. But they start fighting. They pull out they start blasting, and they manage to escape. One of them lets in Leia and everyone, and Obi-Wan and Tara into their ship, and they take off while the other guy, this dude named is Wade, he's like shooting at Reva, but she's like, deflecting all the bullets. And he's like, okay, and they're like, Wade, let's go. So Wade goes, and he's like, yeah, I'm right behind you. But then Reva throws an explosive kind of crate at him with like a bomb, with the Force, and he blows up. And it was like, dude, no, this Wade guy did nothing wrong. Like, come on. So he dies, and then it's all really sad, and the guy comes in, he's like, what happened to Wade? Like the main guy, the leader of the path. He's like, what happened to Wade? And the other girl says, I guess we really are soldiers now. It's like everyone's all sad. And that's pretty much how the episode ends, with them trying to comfort each other. Another just quick detail is that Vader does find Reva, and he's like, "Oh, you failed me. Like, didn't I tell you what would happen if you failed me?" He starts force choking her, but she's like, "I let them go." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "I let them go, and I put a tracker on him so they can find Obi-Wan and the path." And he's like, "Perhaps I underestimated you." And they're like, "Okay." And then the other dude, is it the second? I don't remember who he is. I actually don't remember his name, but like the other Inquisitor guy, he's like, dude, she blew up our like station, like she wrecked it. And Vader's like, well, it's like, she's like, Obi-Wan's all that matters, and he's like, yep, exactly, Obi-Wan's all that matters. So now they've got a tracker, and he says, are you sure you put the tracker on him? And she says, it will always follow him. So I'm thinking she put it on Leia when they were doing the torturing, but no, you see right at the very end of the episode, she actually put it on Lola, which is Leia's little like ladybug droid thing. So she put a tracker on that. And that's the last thing you see in the episode. So we've got 2 more episodes left after this. I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to get another Vader versus Obi-Wan fight coming soon. But I'm really excited for the next one now, because this is what I've been waiting for. He's finally starting to overcome those mental barriers that were blocking him from, being the Jedi that he once was. And he's starting to he's back in the game. So it should be really good from here, and I'm waiting to see how everything progresses in the next episode. We've only got 2 left, but yeah, I'm excited. So if you guys are excited and you want to see the reviews for those, subscribe. If you like this one, leave a like. I do more than just Star Wars stuff too, but yeah, if you want to see anything more from the channel, like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on this episode too, and I'll see you guys in the next one.